Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The college football season really gets underway this Thursday with the official start of Week 1. And arguably the biggest and most anticipated game this Thursday is a renewed rivalry. We have the Backyard Brawl. For the first time since 2011, West Virginia and Pittsburgh will be meeting on the Gridiron. And today, guys, we are here to break down this game, tell you everything you need to know for it, and who is going to win this big-time rivalry matchup. So once again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert here on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. Make sure you go check that out and sign up today. And also check out our official Gridiron Expert Discord so you can talk college football nonstop with myself and hundreds of other users across the country 24/7, 365. So make sure to check it out again, guys. All that down in the description below. We want you to become a part of our GE Nation. So you take a look at this game, guys, the Backyard Brawl. West Virginia traveling to take on number 17 Pittsburgh for the first time since 2011. Unbelievable. 11 years since these two teams have met on the football field. Pittsburgh leads the overall series 61-40-3. These two teams had met 68 consecutive times before they broke apart at the end of 2011. So 68 straight meetings all the way up to 2011 and then haven't met since. So it's really insane that obviously we haven't met in 11 years, but that this rivalry is becoming renewed. You take a look at both these teams, guys. Two teams that had completely different 2021 seasons. You have a Pittsburgh team that went on to win the ACC, won the ACC with Kenny Pickett, and then you have a West Virginia team who just barely got into a bowl game at 6-6 and then lost that bowl game to Minnesota. I believe it was 18-6 was that final score. So two teams that were in completely different directions, but both have a brand new clean slate heading into 2022. And we're here to kind of break down both sides of the ball for both of these teams. We take a look at the offense first, and we'll start with West Virginia, the designated road team in this game. There's a lot of hype surrounding the Mountaineers this year, a lot of hype surrounding them offensively because of the addition of JT Daniels, five-star quarterback transfer who's bounced around from USC to Georgia and finally has settled on West Virginia. And they're hoping that JT Daniels is going to improve a Mountaineers offense that only averaged 25.2 points per game last year and was just 87th overall, 87th nationally. They finally have quarterback consistency and certainly a quarterback upgrade over Jarrett Doege. They've returned 8 starters overall offensively, though, including their whole offensive line, Caden Prather, Sam James, and they have a new offensive coordinator in Graham Harrell who has worked with JT Daniels before. Graham Harrell running the air raid offense during his time as offensive coordinator at USC. So great OC, great offensive mind, great quarterback, tons of talent. This offense should be drastically improved. Should be, 100%. You take a look at Pittsburgh. They lose a lot on offense. They lose their star quarterback in Kenny Pickett, now off to the NFL, staying in Pittsburgh, though, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lose the Biletnikoff winner in Jordan Addison, who transferred over to USC. So a lot of USC connections here, guys, because not only did JT Daniels, ultimately, yes, Georgia, but was a former USC quarterback. Jordan Addison now off to USC. Keaton Slovis is the new quarterback for Pittsburgh, and Slovis transferred to the Panthers from USC. And again, while he might not be Kenny Pickett and put up Kenny Pickett-like numbers, and while the offense may take a bit of a step back because they do lose their offensive coordinator in Mark Whipple, Slovis will do just fine at quarterback and was phenomenal at USC when he was healthy. Like West Virginia, Pittsburgh returns their entire offensive line. All 5 offensive linemen will be one of the most experienced units in the entire country. They will have a very talented core of running backs led by Israel Abanikanda. And while this offense will look different, while it is going to take time to adjust a little bit, I do believe that their new offensive coordinator, Frank Cignetti, is going to have this team ready to go on Thursday. So again, everybody's quick to point out the losses that Pittsburgh has. You're not looking at the big picture and realizing what they do return, and also realizing that, yeah, while Slovis is no Pickett, Slovis is still pretty dang good. You take a look at the defenses, guys. Obviously, I think there's a pretty clear advantage here, but we're going to start with West Virginia. West Virginia's defense wasn't bad in 2021. Still a team that went 6-6 under Neil Brown, but they weren't bad. They only allowed 23.8 points per game. They actually ranked 37th nationally in defense. So the 37th ranked defense in the country last year. The front seven for West Virginia, very, very solid. Dante Stills back on that defensive line. He's going to anchor that front seven. But the major concern for me for West Virginia is their secondary. Yes, we know they've gone out there and have added some players through the transfer portal that are hoping to make an immediate impact, but the ultimate storyline here is that West Virginia still lost 4 of their 5 starters from the secondary from last year. For me, that's a bit of a cause of concern. 4 of 5 starters they lose from the secondary from last year, a secondary that was pretty solid. So a lot of inexperience back there, despite the fact they have added some key transfers. That's something that, if you're Pittsburgh, you're hoping you can attack that secondary with Keaton Slovis and try to exploit it a little bit, which could ultimately set up the run game for you. You look at Pittsburgh, their defense, usually pretty solid, right? Usually is under Pat Narduzzi. This is a Pittsburgh defense that last year ranked 39th nationally, so 37th for West Virginia, 39th for Pittsburgh, but the Panthers ranked 6th versus the run. 6th versus the run. They were very, very stout up front with their front seven year in and year out, and it will be the exact same case again this year. Their defensive line and linebacking core is loaded in 2022. Like West Virginia, though, the concern would be the secondary. The Panthers were 115th versus the pass last year. 115th in defending the pass. It's one of the worst marks in the country. But unlike West Virginia, the Pittsburgh secondary returns all but 1 starter. All but 1. So they return all but 1, while West Virginia loses all but 1. That's the concern there. 2 opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to the secondary for Pittsburgh and West Virginia. And so the Panthers guys certainly should have a lot of experience in that secondary and should be drastically improved from 115th in the country. When you look at this game, guys, again, it is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a brawl. It's going to be physical. You've got 2 passionate, excited fan bases, not only to kick off their season, but to face it off and to open it off against their bitter and hated rival. Obviously, you have 2 very talented quarterbacks in here, and when you put it down on paper, it's going position by position. I'm sitting here saying, the quarterback edge for me goes to West Virginia. West Virginia with JT Daniels, I think, owns that quarterback edge over Keaton Slovis in Pittsburgh. Running back core, Pittsburgh owns the edge. Wide receiver core, right now, leaning towards West Virginia. Offensive line edge, Pittsburgh. That's where I give it their offense, so about even. But it's the defense that ultimately is where Pittsburgh wins this game. Pittsburgh owns the edge on the defensive line. They own the edge in the secondary. They own home field advantage. And yes, many will say there's not going to be much of one. West Virginia, we know you're going to travel well. We know you're going to be loud. We know it's going to be a heck of an environment. But ultimately, Pittsburgh still owns the home field edge here. And maybe the biggest edge of all, Pittsburgh, to me, owns the coaching edge. I like Pat Narduzzi over Neil Brown across the board. Yes, I know both teams are dealing with new offensive coordinators. Maybe Graham Harrell is better than Frank Cignetti in your eyes. But from the head coaching perspective, I like Pat Narduzzi more than Neil Brown. And so what I believe is going to be a close and physical game. No better way to kick off the year with a backyard brawl, and one that is absolutely going to be a brawl. I'm going with the team that, to me, is more experienced, is better coached, and has shown that they can win the big-time games. They've shown that last year. They've shown that in years past under Pat Narduzzi. Even in the years where they weren't winning the ACC or were a top team in the country, they've shown they can do that. I also believe that Pittsburgh's defense can make West Virginia one-dimensional. They can shut down West Virginia. They can get a little pressure on JT Daniels. We know the Mountaineers aren't going to have much success running the ball. You make that Mountaineers offense one-dimensional, which Pittsburgh should be able to do. West Virginia will struggle as the night goes on. I like Pittsburgh at home in a close game to beat West Virginia, to win the backyard brawl, and start the year at 1-0. They'll end their 3-game losing streak to the Mountaineers, maybe begin a winning streak of their own because they will be playing these next few years, renewing the rivalry officially. But this is going to be a fantastic way to kick off this college football season. But we do have the 17th ranked Panthers coming out victorious. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. Again, check out those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to sign up for those today. Make sure to sign up for our Discord server. Become a part of our GE Nation so you don't miss out on any of the content we have for you over the course of this season. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.